OMG, LOL, JK. These are all examples of abbreviations which had their origins in or became popular by texting. Not only are they popular, but they're frequently used in spoken English. How many times have you said FYI instead of for your information? My sister almost exclusively says BT dubs instead of by the way. Text-speak is written and spoken. Is it a dialect? The first step to answering that is defining text-speak. The omniscient Wikipedia defines it very well, but I will define it with a few key differences. Text-speak includes all the gaming abbreviations and anything derived from the internet as a word in itself. Therefore, not only is OMG text-speak, but so are pwn and live blogging. The next step is to define dialect. Wikipedia defines it as a variety of language that is a characteristic of a particular group of the language's speakers. Though the definition may be straightforward enough, there are a few problems with this definition. How big is a group? What groups can there be? What is necessary to define it as a variety? A group can't be one person. That's contrary to the definition of group. One person's variety of English is called an idiolect anyway, not a dialect. What about a small group of friends? That's also studied by the name of argot. A group doesn't only have to be big, but it has to be diverse enough so that two people who don't know each other can still speak the dialect and understand each other. Dialects are often classified into ethnolects, regiolects, and sociolects. Ethnolects are dialects spoken by a specific ethnicity or nationality, for example, Greek, Australian English. Regiolects are dialects spoken in a specific area, for example, the southern accent, since accents are evidence of dialects. Sociolects are dialects spoken by a certain socioeconomic class, for example, AAVE. A variety in linguistics refers to any set of variations on a language. Varieties can be idiolects, argots, or dialects. There are three aspects of language that can make a variety: vocabulary, or lexicon, grammar, or syntax, and pronunciation, or phonology. Vocabulary differences are mostly evident in regiolects, like the differences in British and American English. Silly Brits, it's called an elevator. We can see this in text-speak too, but it's much more interesting. Emoji is part of text-speak's vocabulary. The eggplant and peach emojis are prime examples of a difference in vocabulary, as are abbreviations like GG. The abbreviations are probably the most recognizable part of text-speak. Hell, the name of the dialect itself is an abbreviation. The abbreviative vocabulary began in flip phones because there were significant costs per text, and the process of texting was so time-consuming. Sometimes this process is linked to the development of telegraphies in the 1800s. There is also a distinct difference in grammar, but it is more present in punctuation than words themselves. Many teens will agree that a period at the end of a text is much more stern than without, and the number of exclamation points indicates how excited a person is about the topic. That's part of text-speak's grammar. I use teens as the example because that's the demographic who's becoming fluent in this dialect. It's rather well studied that older generations have more trouble understanding the punctuative grammar than the younger generations. Even I understand it, and I'm very slow to pick up on these things. I only understood the period at the end only a couple of years ago. Pronunciation is tricky, since text-speak is more text than speak. However, there are a few interesting cases of IRL text-speak, especially LOL. Some people who are listening to this might have just cringed at hearing me spell it out, since most people just say lol as if it were a word itself. That's pronunciation. There's another prominent example. It is so controversial that it can split a room in 5 seconds. I've seen it happen. The difference in pronunciation of this word is a great counter-argument for my cause, since it proves that there is no unified pronunciation for the text-speak dialect. However, there's no need for there to be a unified pronunciation. Chinese is a crazy language, if it even is one. Mandarin, Wu, Hakka, Cantonese, they're all mutually unintelligible, yet they're all considered to be dialects of Chinese. Why? Someone from Beijing, from Shanghai, Hong Kong, they can all understand each other's writing. The text is all the same and mutually intelligible. So text-speak has a distinct vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. That means it's a variety at least. It is spoken by a large and diverse group of people. It's almost definitely a dialect at this point, but what kind? You don't need to be a certain nationality or race to speak it, and you certainly don't need to be in a certain socioeconomic class. Does that make text-speak a regiolect? Is text-speak a dialect for people of a certain geographic area? maybe it isn't geographic, but I think we can all agree that the internet is a place. It has sites, right? You can go to the internet, right? Well, I went to the internet to find out for sure if I could even do that, specifically the free dictionary. The very first definition for the word place is an area with definite or indefinite boundaries. That strikes me as odd. Why would they even say anything more than an area with boundaries? Well, the internet does have boundaries. It stops where your smartphone or your computer does, or where your Wi-Fi stops. Is it an area? It seems like we're going in circles, but an area is significantly different. An area is a bounded region on a surface. Is the internet on a surface? Metaphorically and literally, yes. The internet is always on your screen, which is technically a bounded surface, but there's more than that. The internet itself does take up space. The internet is a network of computers made up of wire and such. Any computer you use is taking up the space the internet does. The internet isn't traditionally a place, but it is a place. The internet is so revolutionary, it has changed the definition of almost everything. The word place was not spared by the revolution. Now that we know that the internet is a place, we can finally answer the question at the very beginning of this Pecha Kucha. Text-speak is a dialect of English. It is a redialect with significantly different vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, and is widespread and diverse enough not to be an argot.